But our buddy John Oliver on HBO, he's at it again. I want to play for you an absolutely hysterical clip. And the reason I want to play this is because Oliver seems confused about what socialism is. This is a common thing in the media. He explains Venezuela, which is now socialist, that things are terrible, but don't blame socialism. I want to play this clip of John Oliver, and I want to show you, I want to point out specific things in the clip when it's done that demonstrate this widespread ignorance in the media about what, in fact, socialism is. Play the cut.
Venezuela is the country famous for giving the world oil, 7 Miss Universes, 6 Miss Worlds, and, of course, most importantly, 1 Wilma Valderrama, who I like to think of as the Miss Universe of That 70s Show. Now, over the last few years, it has seemed like every time Venezuela has been on the news, it's because something awful has been happening. And it has been hard to keep up with events in Venezuela due to the hurricane of shit that we've all been dealing with here. Although, if you follow conservative media at all, you may have seen it frequently painted as the inevitable, dire consequences of a socialist government. But what is happening in Venezuela is not just extremely important, it is absolutely worth paying attention to, because this is not just a story about socialism. There are plenty of socialist countries that look nothing like Venezuela. It's a story about epic mismanagement.
There are plenty of socialist countries that look nothing like Venezuela. Yes, you're right. They look worse. You have Cuba. You have North Korea. What are we talking about? Death camps, mass starvation, rationing. Oh, by the way, don't give me the Denmark line. Denmark's not socialist. I pulled that today. Denmark tells Bernie Sanders, we're not socialists, stop slurring our country. Here's some other headlines about real socialist countries and their complete, utter collapse. Does John Oliver know what he's talking about? Folks, does he understand what socialism is? Now, listen, this is not a history class. I don't need it to be. But I can sum this up for you in a very simple definition, widely accepted across the political debate landscape about what, in fact, socialism is. Socialism is the government control, the state's control of the means of production. In other words, state control of the economy, state control of food production, state control of medical services, state control of education, state control of state control. That is what socialism is. I don't know what country John Oliver's referring to that looks nothing like Venezuela, that looks better, that is in fact socialist. Now, if John Oliver decides to use this segment to pan us or not, you're welcome to it, Daddy-O. Knock yourself out. Couldn't care any less. Matter of fact, we appreciate the free promotion. I'm just telling you, sadly, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Socialism is the government control of the means of production. Countries, now, there is a continuum to this. There, of course, are places around the world where they have large government spending budgets, but the government has not monopolized control over every area of the economy like Venezuela. Now, what's even more comical about that clip is he doesn't know what socialism is, clearly, John Oliver, because full socialist countries that have monopolized and taken over the economy using state power, failed precisely because government planners thought they could manage an economy and were too stupid to do it, as they've been throughout human history when they mass-starved people in the Soviet Union and in Mao's China. What John Oliver is saying is just dangerous. Not dangerous in the sense that his speech needs to be curtailed like leftists want us to do. It's dangerous in that it propagandizes people into believing that a system responsible for the mass death of hundreds of millions of people, in fact, is benevolent, and in some cases philanthropic, and maybe with a little bit of better management we can fix it next time. No. Socialism fails because the government is too darn stupid to run an economy. And when it's too stupid to run an economy and it starves its people because it can't even manage a farm, what does it do next? It kills them. Because, as it was said in the Soviet Union, people pretended to work and the government pretended to pay them. And when they didn't work, they killed them. That's what socialism is, John. You may want to take a history class. I have no idea what you're talking about, that there are socialist countries that don't look like Venezuela. You're right. They look horrible. They look even worse. Venezuela's a paradise compared to other socialist countries that have been socialist for a lot longer, like the death camp known as North Korea and the disaster area in Cuba right now. John, crack a history book. Please, it'll help. You're polluting the minds of impressionable viewers. With garbage information you, one, either don't know is incorrect, or you do and you're a lying manipulator. It's disturbing what you're doing. Wake up.